Welcome to Theatre Talk. I'm Ann McBride. Co-host Ed Shopes and I are here the first and third Fridays of the month to tell you all about what's happening in the Mid-Willamette Valley theater world. Hi, Ed.
Hi, Ann. And welcome to Theatre Talk, all you theater fans out there. You know, here on Theatre Talk, we interview some interesting guests about great shows that are happening at theaters throughout the Mid-Valley. Who are we talking with today, Ann?
Joining us first on this episode of KMUZ Theatre Talk is David Janowiak, chair of Western Oregon University's Creative Arts and Theater Programs. Ed and I will talk with David about his upcoming move to the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, to head their growing theater program and the theater legacy he built over his 24 years at Western and in the Mid-Valley.
And in our second interview, we'll talk with Tamara McGinnis from Corban University about Corban's summer theater camp for Salem area students.
But first, let's check our KMUZ Theatre Talk calendar to see what else is on the boards. Ed?
At Albany Civic Theater, that's albanycivic.org, Love, Loss, and What I Wore continues at ACT through May 20th. More information on the show is at albanycivic.org, and check out our KMUZ Theatre Talk podcast for an interview with director Lee Matthews-Bach and actors Laura Blackwell and Storm Kennedy. Coming up after that, at ACT is the play Moonglow. That's a story about two people diagnosed with Alzheimer's who meet and fall in love. This heartfelt comedy drama runs June 23rd through July 1st and is directed by Sarah Roth.
Blooming Valley Theatrics is on Facebook and Instagram at Blooming Valley Theatrics. Blooming Valley Theatrics is a new theater based here in the Mid-Valley that puts on original works around the Pacific Northwest. They premiered their original musical, Waiting, recently at the Infinity Room in Salem and are planning their next project.
Brush Creek Playhouse has auditions for the melodrama The Rustler's Revenge by Dee Chappelle and directed by Norm Gouveia. And the auditions are June 4th at 5 p.m. and June 5th at 6 p.m. at the Playhouse. That show runs July 28th through August 13th. And Brush Creek Playhouse is calling for actors of all abilities to audition and directors to propose for shows at their Playhouse. If you're looking to be on stage or direct, they really need you. Look at brushcreekplayhouse.com or check their Facebook page for more information.
Children's Educational Theater at cetsalem.org. CET's 2023 season for students entering grade 4 through 12 starts June 26th and runs through July 29th. Classes for this popular 5-week program are filling fast, so apply now at CET Salem for performance and technical theater track opportunities. CET has also announced this year's teaching assistants on their Facebook page at Children's Educational Theater.
The Elsinore Theater is at elsinoretheater.com, and for local events and touring shows at the Elsinore, check out their Facebook page or the elsinoretheater.com website.
Enlighten Theatrics, and they are at enlightentheatrics.org, also on Facebook. Broadway Dreams returns to Enlighten Theatrics July 3rd through 9th, offering performers a chance to work with entertainment professionals to polish their triple threat skills. Broadway Dreams is an all-ages experience, and Enlighten Theatrics and Salem is their only stop in the Pacific Northwest. Apply now at Broadway Dreams website. Coming to Enlighten Theatrics stage at the Grand Theater on August 11th through 20th is the musical Xanadu, based on the 1980 movie about a Greek muse who descends from Mount Olympus to help open a roller disco in Venice Beach. Registration for Enlightened Summer Camp 2023 is now open. This camp runs August 14th through 25th with expanded class offerings the Salem community has asked for, including multiple skill-based classes for middle and high school students and an introductory overview class for elementary students. For information on this summer camp and to apply for scholarships, go to enlightentheatrics.org.
Gallery Theater is at gallerytheater.org. They're currently playing 9 to 5, the musical, with music and lyrics by Dolly Parton, and it's on stage at Gallery Theater every weekend through May 28th. You can find out all about the show by listening to our KMUZ Theatre Talk podcast interview with director Robin Peterson. Then on May 29th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and May 30th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., Gallery will host auditions for Pride and Prejudice, directed by Claire Snyder. Go to the gallerytheater.org auditions page for details and to sign up. And Gallery Theater's Summer Kids Camp is July 10th through 14th. That camp includes 2 programs: Footlighters, a grade school camp for ages 7 through 11 that includes dance workshops, fun improv games, and rehearsals, and Spotlighters, a middle and high school camp for ages 12 and up with fun workshops for older kids. Go to gallerytheater.org and click on the Shows/Events tab to register.
Kaiser Homegrown Theater at kaiserhomegrowntheater.org. They have A Doll's House Part 2 by Lucas Nath on stage through May 21st. The story is a follow-up to Ibsen's 1879 groundbreaking masterwork. Check out our KMUZ Theatre Talk podcast for an in-depth interview about the show with co-directors Patricia Wiley and Tom Hewitt.
The Majestic Theater in Corvallis is at majestic.org, and they are staging the Stephen Sondheim musical thriller Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, through May 21st. Critics and theater historians call this show Sondheim's best musical, so don't miss it. And then May 20th and 21st, the Majestic Readers Theatre Company presents The Thin Places by Lucas Nath. It explores the fragile boundary between our world and a place where whoever died is still here, just in a different part of here.
Mid-Valley Musical Theater, and they are on Facebook at Mid-Valley Musical Theater. They are a new group that will be staging shows at the Albany Performing Arts Center at West Albany High School. They are presenting the musical Newsies August 11th through 19th. Auditions are May 20th and 21st. Note that auditions are being held in 2 different places and that you have to learn a dance combination posted on their Facebook page at Mid-Valley Musical Theater.
Pinnacle Theater is at pinnacletheater.org. Opening June 9th and running through July 1st at Pinnacle Theater is Exit Laughing, a comedy by Paul Elliott that's directed by Karen McCarty. We'll have an interview with the director on our June 2nd KMUZ Theatre Talk program. And Joe Dodge's acting workshop for actors 18 and older is still going strong at Pinnacle Theater's rehearsal studio in downtown Salem. For information and to sign up, go to tickets.pinnacletheater.org.
The Salem Playhouse at thesalemplayhouse.com also offers acting classes for both kids and adults held at Kaiser Homegrown Theater. To sign up, go to thesalemplayhouse.com and click on the Classes tab.
Spotlight Community Theater in Stayton. On stage now through May 21st at Spotlight is Pygmalion, directed by Dennis Engblom. And Spotlight is looking for play proposals from local directors for their 2023-24 season. Send your application now to info@spotlightcommunitytheater.com. Also, on the Spotlight CT webpage, you can find audiobooks that they've created featuring such classics as The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, Dracula, and Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Scarlet. Go to spotlightct.com.
Struts and Frets Theater Company at strutsandfretstheater.org. They have A Winter's Tale coming to Struts and Frets August 16th through 19th at Eola Hills Wine Cellars in Rickreall.
Theater 33 at Willamette University is having their 10th New Play Summer Festival of Emerging Works by Pacific Northwest Playwrights. That starts June 8th with Solastalgia by playwright Joy Ono, directed by Elizabeth Hellman. And that's followed July 13th through 16th by Working for Crumbs, written by Kate Daly, directed by Susan Cormel, and wraps up August 10th through 13th with The Names by Paul Lewis, and that's directed by Rod Ceballos. The festival also includes 3 outdoor pop-up performances of new plays on the Willamette University campus. We'll have more about this summer play program on our next edition of KMUZ Theatre Talk.
Corban University at corban.edu/theater-arts. They have a theater camp. This time the themes is New Horizons. We'll have an interview with the camp's director, Tamara McGinnis, later on today's episode of KMUZ Theatre Talk. The camp will be held July 24th through August 5th, and you need to register by July 1st, and the deadline for scholarship entry is June 15th.
Western Oregon University is at wou.edu/theater. The final show of Western's academic year is The Wolves by Sarah DeLapp. It's directed by Risa Fleming and is on stage May 31st through June 3rd.
Willamette University at woutheater.com. Willamette's 2023-24 season kicks off October 26th through November 12th with the world premiere of In the Deep, a new musical with book and lyrics by E.M. Lewis and music by Clarence Roscoe McDonald.
At the high schools, McKay High School, and their Facebook page is at McKay Thespians, and they have the Calamityville Terror on stage at McKay through May 27th.
McNary High School, and they're on Facebook at Ken Collins Theater. Student-directed one-act plays come alive at McNary High School, May 24th through 26th.
And the final show of North Salem High School season is the fun mystery Clue. That's on stage now through May 20th. More on that is on Facebook at NSHS Theater.
West Salem High School, their Facebook page is at West Salem Drama Department. A Midsummer Night's Dream is on stage at West Salem High School through May 23rd, followed by Hamlet, Zombie Killer of Denmark, June 1st and June 3rd. And that wraps up this week's Theater Talk calendar. Stay with us as we interview today's first guest, David Janowiak, chair of Western Oregon University's Creative Arts and Theater program. We'll be back in a moment with more KMUZ Theater Talk.
David Janowiak is the chair of the Division of Creative Arts at Western Oregon University. He's also the artistic director at the Valley Shakespeare Company, and he's been a professor at Western Oregon University for 24 years. And there's some big changes ahead of David in his career and his life. And we're here to talk with him today on Theater Talk. Welcome to Theater Talk, David Janowiak.
Hi, Ed. Hi, Ann. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
David, earlier this month, you made a big announcement on Facebook about your future.
Yeah, I took a job at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, to chair their theater program out there and to leave Western after 24 years.
That must have been a hard decision for you to make. I know all the close ties that you have here in Oregon and a little bit about your legacy, which we're going to explore in a minute.
It was a really hard decision. You know, I've been here, as you said, 24 years, and coming out of COVID about a year and a half ago, I just kind of did an inventory of where the program was when I arrived and where it had come in those 24 years. And I was really proud of the work we've done, and especially proud of Valley Shakespeare Company. But I decided that I kind of had achieved everything I set out to do here, and I wanted to explore new challenges. And so I started applying for jobs, and I was fortunate enough to get an offer at UNC Charlotte.
That's across the country.
Yeah, it is. Well, I had to, honestly, I applied at several jobs, but I have a family and I have a wife who's in healthcare and I have kids. So it was a matter of what city or what area of the country we might want to live in, where we could all of us do the things we want to do.
Absolutely. So you broached it to your wife
Mm-hmm.
and she got a job in healthcare in North Carolina?
Yeah, it was funny. 2 days after I accepted the contract at Charlotte, she saw a job opening at Atrium Health System, which is their big health system in Charlotte. And she applied around midnight West Coast time. When she woke up in the morning, there was a request for an interview. So she got that job. And we feel very fortunate that she was able to find a job that quickly.
That's great. And how old are your kids?
I have 6-year-old twin kiddos, Calvin and Isaac, who are amazing.
If you follow David on Facebook, you'll learn a lot about his kids because they're a very popular topic on David's feed.
Yeah, I'm on there for the kids to share their experience or my experience with the kids with my family back home. So that's what Facebook is about for me.
Where is home, David?
I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Okay.
is where I grew up. Went to Greenfield High School. I even got into the professional actor training program at UW Milwaukee, which no longer exists, but was there for many years. And I graduated from there in the 90s.
What originally brought you to Western Oregon University, David?
Well, I was working in regional theaters across the country. I'd lived in Dallas, Texas for a while. I did 6 seasons with the Utah Shakespeare Company, which is very similar to the Oregon Shakespeare Company. A lot of the people work at both theaters. And I just had made a decision. I had an opportunity to teach a couple of times, whether high school kids and college age kids. And I made a decision to try to tip my professional scales in favor of teaching and to continue to act, which I did for my first 5 or 6 years at Western. And I applied for a job out there and I got it. And I really liked the fact that they were looking to grow the program at Western. There were, I think, 9 majors when I got there. And we built the program to a high of about 72 and then maintained it around 60 some majors all the way up until COVID. And then we were hit pretty hard. We lost about 30% of our students, but we're bouncing back now.
Well, that's quite a legacy. What do you consider your greatest accomplishments at Western?
Well, I think we developed a program that has a reputation for being a solid choice for theater students. And that's what I set out to do, is to build a reputable program that did reputable, good theater and trained theater students well, whether they wanted to be prepared for the professional field or they wanted to be teachers or something else, managers in theater. And we built Oregon's second Bachelor of Fine Arts program. The only other one that exists is at Southern Oregon with their formidable program. So we got permission from the state and from Southern to start that degree about 20 years ago. And so we have this really great curriculum of design and acting classes it's very broad and deep. 2 levels of Shakespeare, classical acting, modern styles, 2 speech classes, 2 voice classes, 3 movement classes. It's a great curriculum. So we built a program, my colleagues and I, that we're all really, really proud of. And one of the offshoots of that was Valley Shakespeare Company. We wanted a chance to build a theater that included our students, community members, and professionals, and had a balance of those elements so that our students got exposure to working with the formidable talents of the community and more seasoned professionals at the same time. And I think we succeeded in that with Valley Shakespeare Company.
Well, for those of listeners who may not be familiar with Valley Shakespeare Company, that's a special program that happens every summer on Western's campus. And Dave has been directing shows there for several years. How long has Valley Shakespeare been active, David?
Oh, we went dark, of course, during COVID. So I'm thinking about 8 years. I think I should know this, but I think we've done 7 or 8 shows. I just kind of do the work. I don't.
And you started out just doing Shakespeare, but you have branched out in recent years.
Yeah, I think the first step away from Shakespeare was to do a Moliere play. So we did
Yeah.
kind of a contemporary of Shakespeare, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then we did Shakespeare in Love, which is about Shakespeare, but not Shakespeare as well.
So what is going to happen with Valley Shakespeare?
That ultimately is up to the theater department. I know that the students at Western want to see it continue, and I've spoken with them about talking to the faculty and sitting down and having a conversation about that. And I know that there are a lot of community members who have worked, including Ed himself at Valley Shakespeare Company. And so I think there are some likely people who could step in and steer it in the right direction. And I've already had those conversations with my colleagues, and they seem very open to it. In fact, I've arranged for several conversations to happen when I leave, but ultimately they have to make the decision about what's best for the students in the program at Western.
Well, I hope it continues because it's a terrific place to work. It's really fun for local community theater people to work with students. It's great to have the occasional professional actor come in and join. My experience with Shakespeare in Love last summer was just incredible. It was really tons of fun and great to see how involved the students are.
Yeah.
Yes, what an opportunity for the students to work with everyone and to put on a show. That's fabulous.
Yeah, from the very first show, and I did As You Like It as my first play because it's one of my favorites, and I've done it like 5 times. But from that very first show, there was magic in the rehearsal hall and in the space and in the room. And when I opened the auditions to the community, and I had people like Gregory Jolivet came out and he played my Jaques that summer.
Wow.
And I got to work, with others from the community. It was just magical. And on opening night, when the lights went down on the outdoor stage, I'm thinking to myself, why didn't we start doing this 15 years ago? It was so magical and wonderful. And then it's just grown since then. We've developed the space outside so it could facilitate better lighting because it was difficult. We didn't have a lot of areas to hang the lights out on that green. Technically, we've improved the space. And I wrote a grant that we're using to even further improve the lighting and sound out there. And then last year, we started using full body mics just to improve the audience experience as well. So it's been wonderful and magical. And I got to say, I wanted more community people. I was a little disappointed in the first few years. I was hoping more community folks would audition. And I didn't know how to do that. So I eventually just picked up the phone and called people like Jeff Sanders and Jeff Baer, who teaches at Dallas High School, and I know had a great love of Shakespeare. And suddenly we had lots of people from the community auditioning, and I was really grateful. And it stepped up that community partnership quite a bit. If anything, I'm most proud of Valley Shakespeare Company and what we've created with that.
Some would call you the Angus Bomer of the Mid-Valley.
Yeah, you might. I don't know.
How are you going to implement all you've learned through Valley Shakespeare Company by starting a similar company in Charlotte?
I'm not sure what I'm going to do in Charlotte yet. They're at a crossroads in terms of live theater and the arts in Charlotte as well. Just in the last 6 months to 9 months, there have been several articles written about the theater scene in Charlotte. Charlotte and the metro area is about the size of Portland. It's about 2.5 million is the Charlotte metro and around the Portland area as well. And there several articles said that if there's going to be a solid regional theater in Charlotte, it might well have to grow out of UNC Charlotte, where I'm taking a job. So I've already begun those conversations about working with the folks in Charlotte to link the program there to some kind of major regional theater like they've done in other states. In Florida at the Oslo, at UMKC and Kansas City Rep began with this union of a theater, a professional theater, and a graduate program in theater. So those are all things I'd like to explore when I get there, and those conversations are already started.
That's great.
Well, David, Valley Shakespeare Company isn't the first theater that you started here in the Mid-Valley area. There's a little something called Salem Repertory Theatre that you began as well.
I was still doing regional theater when I came to Western. I would leave and go do seasons at the Utah Shakespeare Company, but because they're a summer regional theater, not summer stock, they start in May, and the quarter system in Oregon, the state schools work on the quarter system. That meant I had to leave in the middle of a term, and it really became disruptive. And then I was told I shouldn't do that anymore, that it wasn't good for the students. And I don't think Western wanted to squash my professional work. It just wasn't a good situation to leave halfway through a term like that. So my crafty idea was to try to found a professional theater where union actors could work in Salem. I got my colleagues together at Western, and I reached out to some of the folks at Willamette, and we founded Salem Repertory Theatre. We gave it 5 years. We were going to give it 5 years to see if we could make a go of it or not. And I think we produced some great theater in that time, but none of us, least of all me, had real strong business sense, and we didn't have a strong managing director, and financially it struggled. And I eventually worked with the board and made a decision that after 6 seasons, we let it go for a 6th season. I think we were in the middle of our 6th season when we decided that it was not a sustainable model. And it was a very difficult time, I think, for a lot of us in the theater community to see Salem Rep go.
Well, you guys did some great shows there. Probably my favorite was one that you had the lead in. It was Yasmin Reza's Art, which was, it was a great production. I love that show.
Yeah, you've done that show too as well, haven't you, Ed?
Yeah, I did a readers theater version of that with Ron Fox.
Oh man,
we were together in that show, and we had a heck of a lot of fun. We did it for the Salem Art Association, so we were in the Bush Barn.
Yeah,
that was a great show, and you guys also did some other important works there as well.
Yeah, we did some great shows. We got a few grants for an educational program to bring high school kids in. From Spirit Mountain. So, we did some good during those years, and I'm proud of what we did accomplish with it. What I really enjoyed is in the years after Salem Rec closed, which was about 11 years ago, I want to say, there was this renaissance in Salem. All these new theaters popped up. Kaiser Homegrown, Verona Studios, Enlightened Theatrics. So it was a really exciting time post Salem Repertory Theatre in Salem for new theaters. I think almost all of them are still going now.
Right. They're just popping up all the time. And I think you sowed a seed because so many theaters have come up. It's amazing what's happening in Salem right now. And you started it.
I don't know if I started it or we started it, but I was glad that there's so much theater has evolved in the last decade in Salem. I think theater is going strong, and just such a wealth of talent in this city as well.
Yes, it's amazing how much talent there is. Yeah.
Aside from the opportunity to create a regional presence at UNC Charlotte, what are you looking forward to as your new position as chair of the theater department at UNC?
I'm looking forward to the faculty. It has an amazing, diverse faculty. It has about 110 theater majors.
Wow.
And yeah, that'll be pretty exciting. They're at a place right now, I believe, where they're reassessing the curriculum. One of the first things on the agenda is to look at the current curriculum. They want to identify their theater. They want to give it some definition and decide what direction to go. And I feel like that's kind of what I did at Western. I came in and gave the theater department some direction and some definition. So one of the things that attracted me to the UNC Charlotte job is they're at a crossroads and they want to figure out where they want to go. And that may or may not include the development of a regional theater in Charlotte. That remains to be seen if the faculty want to go in that direction, my new collaborators, and if UNC Charlotte is the right place for that. I would definitely consider doing something in the summer. They just were breaking ground for an outdoor amphitheater And I
Ah,
was interviewing there, and they just did an As You Like It in their botanical gardens. They're very big on site, found spaces theater where they do Shakespeare outdoors as well. And I
great.
heard the As You Like It was a great success. I saw the photos for it. It was pretty amazing. Uh,
Wow.
I'm excited about the potential. The same thing that excited me when I came out to Western 24 years ago.
They must have a great deal of potential because they are forward thinking in their theater, and you can build it up to be something wonderful.
Yeah, that's my hope, is to come out and hopefully do some good for the students in the program.
That's wonderful.
I just think this first year is going to be getting to know the new faculty and talking about where they want to take the department, or what we might want to try next.
I think they're lucky to have you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, Ann.
When are you leaving?
We leave July 6th, right after the 4th of July weekend.
And you got two 6-year-olds and two dogs to take cross country. Is this going to
Yeah,
be a road trip, David?
and it was my wife's idea. I think it's crazy. Yes, instead of having professional movers drive the truck for us, I'm going to be driving a 26-foot U-Haul, and
Oh my,
my wife, two kids, twin 6-year-olds, and two dogs are going to be caravanning either right ahead of me or behind me, and we're going to take 5 or 6 days and travel across country together. It's going to be interesting.
what's your route?
We're going, through Idaho, and we're
Yeah.
going to pass through Kansas and Missouri. In fact, I went out and bought at the book bin 100th anniversary Rand McNally, and we opened it with the 6-year-olds and took the highlighter, and we marked the route and all the places we're going to stop and stay for the night. We're going old school with it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You're going to take the Oregon Trail in reverse then.
I know the last night before we get to Charlotte, we're going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee. So that last day of driving will only be a couple of hours to Charlotte from there.
Well, David, I'm sorry to see you go, but I'm excited for your opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ed. It's bittersweet, that's for sure. And as we get closer, the reality of leaving Salem is hitting me, and it's been mixed emotions for sure.
You've left quite a legacy here, and you will be much missed.
Yeah, thank you, Ann. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your having me on the show today.
David Janowiak is the chair of the Division of Creative Arts at Western Oregon University. He will soon be chair of the theater department at the University of North Carolina in Charlotte. Send your best wishes to David on his Facebook page. I know we're all going to miss him, but we'll also be able to keep up with you and the twins on Facebook, David.
There you go.
Break a leg. Best of luck to you and your family.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Up next, we'll hear from Tamara McGinnis at Corban University about Corban's upcoming summer camp for Salem area students. Stay with us for more KMUZ Theatre Talk.
We're talking today with Tamara McGinnis about Corban University's Summer Theater Camp, which is July 24th through August 5th. Welcome to Theater Talk.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. I appreciate it.
Tamara, Corban has an annual summer camp, has had for a few years. Tell us a little bit about the goal of this year's summer camp.
Our goal actually is the same every year, and that's to provide young students an opportunity to be involved in the arts, specifically theater, but we also do singing. And I just feel like they don't get a lot of opportunities frequently during the school year. And because many schools have had to cut back, sometimes they don't even have any opportunities to be involved in either music or theater. So we like to offer something every summer for students to come and experience for 2 weeks. And then our theme this year is New Horizons. And part of it is I want people looking forward and recognizing that the future is bright and there is hope ahead. And we need to start making plans again and moving forward and just expecting that we can accomplish some things as we move on.
That's a wonderful idea, and we all need to do that. What ages are you looking for?
Our camp covers anybody who is going into grade 4 next year. And then if you are exiting 12th grade. If you are a senior at the end of this year, you are still allowed to come. That would be the last year that you would be allowed to come, however. So we cover grades 4 through 12.
And what do you do? Do you do a production? Do you do classes?
So the structure of this camp is that we separate into 3 different age groups, grades 4 through 6, grades 7 through 8, and then grades 9 through 12. And each one of those sections usually is also subdivided. We have classes with a student-teacher ratio of 10 students to 1 teacher. And then each class has some time to both write an original script and then work on performing it. So they work on the acting skills as well as the writing skills. And then a couple of the classes will be using some pre-existing scripts as well. And we'll just work on memorizing them and blocking them and then performing them in our showcase recital on August 5th.
Who will be teaching these classes?
I have alumni from Corban University who have been involved in my theater program the whole time, as well as people who are teachers in the community who teach theater, or are elementary teachers who incorporate theater into their classrooms.
So they are all teachers and they are teaching the different classes specifically for their age group. I mean, it would be a different thing for 4 to 6 from 9 to 12 if you have high school kids.
Yes. That's why we separate them into the age groupings, because you focus on different kinds of skills and you have obviously a different kind of content and a different level of expectation for performance for all of them. I always tell my teachers, grades 4 through 6, they're still cute. Grades 10 through 12, yeah, not so much. We work a lot on polishing performances in the high school, and we work more on developing and giving confidence to the younger grades and not really stressing as much on, well, it's got to be the absolute best that it can be, because we're really trying to just bring them along and to encourage them and to help them to recognize the creativity that is in them. Now, with that said, even some of our high schoolers have not yet understood that they are creative beings and they feel insecure and they also need lots of encouragement. So it isn't that we don't encourage our high schoolers, but we just work them a little bit harder.
Your summer camp runs 2 weeks, and it sounds like you're fitting a lot into that 2-week schedule. What does the end of summer camp look like? What kinds of shows and performances are you going to have at the end of summer camp?
The last Saturday of that second week, we actually call it a showcase recital, because in that short amount of time, you aren't able to absolutely perfect anything. That's too short of a time when you're asking people to write a script as well as learn it and perform it. So we call it a recital, and each of the classes will present one show that they have either written, or if they're using a pre-existing script that they have memorized and perfected to the level that they can in the time allowed. And then all of the groups have at least one song that they have learned, and they will sing it as well as do some dancing and choreography to it. Then most of them will do a short something. Sometimes it's a short reader's theater selection that goes with whatever their sketch was, or sometimes it's just a separate small sketch. But usually it's one larger piece and then one shorter piece, all focused around the camp theme, and then at least one song and sometimes 2 songs.
And that's for each age group?
Yes. We have 2 different recitals. The 4th through 6th grade recitals are in the afternoon, and then the junior high and high school recital is in the evening.
Well, you're going to keep these kids really busy.
We do. But even though, I mean, we call them plays, but, you know, they're hard work. But it's the kind of work that is just so delightful and brings joy, partially because you're collaborating. Regularly, students leave the camp saying, this was amazing. I made so many new friends. I mean, friends are important for all of us, but particularly when you're in school, adding to your friend group and feeling like you have found a group of people who are interested in the same kinds of things that you are is just absolutely essential. And the nice thing about theater, at least at our camp, is we are always encouraging people to figure out ways that they can encourage one another. All of the perfecting of the play is in the hands of the teachers. We're the only ones that are allowed to critique and to say, okay, well, let's try this a slightly different way. When the students are talking to one another, they are deliberately finding ways to complement, to encourage, and to strengthen their fellow actors. And you can't leave that kind of atmosphere feeling bad about yourself, about life, or about anything. It's just a really positive, wonderful experience for both students and teachers alike.
How do parents and students find out more about the New Horizons Theater Camp?
They could go to our website, which is go.corban.edu/theater camp. But if you just Google Corban University's Theater Camp 2023, it'll take you to the page as well.
And what are the deadlines about registration and scholarships?
We do have both full and partial scholarships available, and we have the scholarship application online. So if you go to our Theater Camp website, you'll be able to navigate and find the scholarship application. We really want to encourage people to register as soon as possible because that lets me know how many teachers I need to find and how to separate the groups up so that everybody has about the same amount in each class. But it is not a walk-up camp, so July 1st is that deadline. We need you to register by then.
I just want to ask if the person who did the theater camp poster also did Phantom Toll Booth, because it's very similar.
The person who does all of our posters is incredibly talented, and she did both of them. Our last play, Phantom Toll Booth, was appealing to children. It was a children's book. So we wanted to have really vibrant colors and something that would attract both adults and children. And then this poster for our theater camp also has lots of vibrant color. And
it's very inspiring.
I really like the poster. And when I met with the woman who does our work for us for the posters, I gave her a bunch of quotes and pictures and said, these are the things that are inspiring me. And one of the quotes that I think epitomizes what I am trying to communicate with this New Horizons theme is, the way to maximize the present is to anticipate the future. And I just like this idea of looking towards tomorrow, but not forgetting that we're here right now, enjoying the right now, knowing that good stuff is ahead.
Folks, the New Horizons Theater Camp 2023 is at Corban University, July 24th through August 5th. You can search for Corban University Summer Camp online, and it'll take you right to the registration page. The registration deadline is July 1st, and if you are interested in a scholarship, that deadline is June 15th. More camp information on the website. Tamara McGinnis, thank you very much for joining us here on Theater Talk.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate you inviting me, and I just encourage everyone to come make some friends, learn some skills, and enjoy yourself at Corban University's Theater Camp, New Horizons.
It's time to wind up today's KMUZ Theater Talk program. Thank you for joining us. Next week at 9 a.m., you can tune into Talking About Art with Joel Zach. KMUZ Theater Talk is a proud member of the Salem Theater Network.
KMUZ Theater Talk airs at 9 a.m. the first and third Friday of the month at 100.7 and 88.5 FM, and on your favorite radio app or on demand at kmuz.org. You can also listen to KMUZ Theater Talk anytime on your PC, mobile device, smart speaker, or in your car, wherever you get your podcasts.
Ed and I will be back June 2nd with a brand new KMUZ Theater Talk program to fill you in about what's happening in the Mid-Willamette Valley theater world. In the meantime, check our Theater Talk Facebook page for news and updates about live theater in the Mid-Willamette Valley.
And if you haven't yet joined to support KMUZ Theater Talk and the rest of KMUZ's great community radio programs, go to kmuz.org right now and click the Contribute button at the top of the page. And thanks. Until next time,
we'll see you in the front row.